So I'm down in my lower garden and I'm on my periphery. And 3 years ago, I made a bed here that is made out of turned up sod or blocks of sod that I had dug up when I planted my blueberries. You can catch a video on that. I'll try to remember to put a link down in the show notes. And so it's a good long bed, but I'm extending things a little bit. And I went ahead and I made an additional extension here about 2 weeks ago. And now I'm just going to extend it up to this end. I'm going to show you how you can make a very, very easy no dig bed. And this is just another method. This method has worked great for me. It does take a little bit of time. So right now it is early April, and this part of this bed, I won't plant until at least mid-May and maybe even a little bit later. This is going to have melons in it. So I would like to have some waves of melons, particularly watermelons, coming in so they don't all come in at once. So I'll just show you how I'm going to do this. It's very simple. Come on. So this wheelbarrow here is full of sod that was dug out when we were mulching along and needed to get some sod out of there. So why would you waste something like this? It's full of rich soil. It's full of compostable materials. And that way I can actually use it by creating a bed. And I've got plenty of it. So I'm just going to pick up some blocks of this sod and I'm going to turn it upside down in the space that I want to create the bed in. And I'm going to build it up, then I'm going to cover it with hay. I'll show you. All right, so this has been mulch path right here. And you can see where this bed ends and the mulch path was last year. So this is the hay or the straw that I'm going to be using. You can use hay or straw. You don't have to worry necessarily about pulling out things, except when they're in the edges like this. So remove. I'm just taking this, I'm going to pack it in here upside down. And you might say, well, isn't it just going to root? Isn't it just going to root? No, because I'm going to deprive it of light for a while. And then I'm going to keep it well mulched. It's got worms and all in here. So those worms are going to get really busy, and their friends, the other worms, are going to come along, and they're going to break down all of this root material, this excellent, excellent, rich material, into super, super rich soil. It's a great way to use sod when you dig up for planting blueberries or trees or something like that. Hello, worms. I know you're quite disturbed at the moment. I also have a compost bin where I recycle or compost down stuff like this as well. So I'm just literally piling this up, mounding it up. Notice I haven't even bothered to trim anything. You don't need to. The more of the green material that's on there, the better off you are, because that's more compostable material. And being covered up like this, it's going to compost down pretty darn quick. I have used this method for this bed as well as for some other beds. So it definitely works. And it's a really almost free way of getting a garden bed. Now, you can't use it right away. You got to let it settle and compost down. One of the things I often do is I'll plant transplants, and I will actually create a hole in the hay where I will put some compost in and then put the transplant into that area and then cover up the hay around it again. And eventually the roots will go down into the sod that is down below what I'm putting here now. Notice that I'm kind of making it into a mound shape. Oh, look at that. Good rich earth. The next thing I'm going to do is break apart some, you can use hay or you can use straw. What I have right here is straw. So that's what I'm going to use. And you'll notice that it's been sitting for a while. So it's already starting to compost down some. Okay, see how this is already composting down? I'm going to put that stuff right on sort of top itself. I'm putting it on pretty thick because my goal at first is really just to block all the light out of here. I don't want any light coming through because I want those roots to die. You have to also put it on the side. The idea of this part really is simply to block, well, you're blocking light, but you're also adding more compostable material in. This hay is going to degrade and it's going to become the bed over the next couple years, just like this is, right? It becomes soil. So I wouldn't tarp it in this case. I want the rain to come in. I want the air to come in. I don't want to, I want those natural processes to take place here. So it's recently rained, so I'm not going to bother to hose this down. But if it hadn't rained in the last couple of days, I would be just watering this in. This is pretty on its way to being composted. The hay is, or the straw is, so I'm not terribly worried about it. It's already pretty moist. Again, this will be ready to plant in sometime in mid-May, mid to late May. So if you've got a little bit of time, it's a great way to start a bed. If it's too late for this spring, then this is something you could do now that you would plant your fall vegetables into in the fall. So it's a great way. You can use a big space, a small space, but it makes an incredibly rich and productive bed. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.